All right.
Well, great evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Wealth 101 webinar, where we're going to show you 3 cash flow streams tonight. All right. Coming to the stage, or to the platform, I should say, is someone I have a tremendous amount of respect for, highly educated, such a people person, such a sense of humor, and he is positioned himself to make a lot of money teaching these cash flow streams. He knows 100% about this business. Wouldn't that be someone y'all love to hear from?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, welcome to the platform, Mr. Rich Harden.
All right, Richard Harden, let's go.
Oh my goodness, man, listen, before I get started, I would be remiss if I jumped in and started talking about money and cash flow and income and wealth strategies if I didn't give that same love right back to Miss Monifa, because across this conversation, I'm going to ask her to share some of the things that she's been through in our financial transformation process. But more importantly, you got to just understand what it's like to have someone in your life that's always inspiring you to do better with what you had. So if anybody deserves that love, those accolades, and especially this additional cash flow, y'all give it up one more time for Miss Monifa. I'm always at work. But
Monifa.
And I won't spend a long time with us on this conversation this evening, but I do want to make sure that we have a strong conversation. So if you're in a position to take notes, take notes, because there are a lot of things that I want to go through quickly. And I do want to be in a position to be honoring everyone's time. Let me grab a couple of co-hosts. Who is available to co-host today?
I got you.
I am.
Okay. William, I'll add you. Can y'all help me with background?
Gotcha.
All right,
Yeah.
I appreciate you. So by way of background, Monifa said all those great things about me, but in all honesty, my story is probably not that much different than yours, meaning I was taught a system and a formula for being successful in America. How many of you were told to go to school and get good grades?
Yes.
How many of you were told that if you go to school and get good grades, then you can go to college?
Yeah.
And if you go to school, get good grades, go to college, get a degree, you can get a good job with benefits and live happily ever after. Everybody talk about that same formula?
Yes, they did.
How many of you did the best you could with that formula and found out it was something missing relative to what you wanted?
Yeah.
Because that's where I was. I was in that place when I heard this conversation for the first time 3 years ago, where I'd done everything they said to do. Well, I'd gone to school. I got the best grades in my class for 4 years in a row of high school right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, wait, y'all clap for that. I'm trying to tell you, this is inner city public school in the South. And when you make those kind of grades, they call you things that are not your given name, like nerd, geek, bookworm. How about mathlete? Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
Different.
But when I graduated, they called me the valedictorian. They called me that for every year since. I knew when I graduated from Douglas High School, I learned everything the Atlanta public school system intended to teach me. And guess what? It wasn't enough. Parlayed that status into an academic scholarship to Duke University. Now at Duke, I was a double major. I double majored in computer science and electrical engineering. Computer science and electrical engineering, and got out into the workplace at the right place at the right time. I will never be the one that complains about the salary I got. I will complain about the miseducation I got on money. Because here's what happened. Kristen, from my starting salary, I went from my starting salary to a 6-figure income in 3 years. So at age 25, I was making more money. I was making the exact amount of money they said you could make with these degrees, but I was broken in a joke and ready to choke. I could not understand that what grandmom and them were always saying, the more you make, the more they take. Oh, that's real. The tax code is set up that way. And so I found myself in that frustrated situation as I got married and had kids, and we added kids, where I was working harder, but falling further behind. Because can anybody relate to just being further behind than you thought you should be at this point in life?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The blessing for me with this conversation, only 3 years ago, I had 2 jobs, because that's what I figured out. I was like, this one job not making enough money. Maybe I should get another one.
Yeah.
So 24/7 I was on, working around the clock, trying to make it work. And I just ended up with a bigger tax bill. And then my good friend, my brother, introduced me to his good friend, Brian Bean. He said, Richard, you don't have an income problem. You make more money than 95% of people in America. What you got is a cash flow problem. Now, is anybody like me right now listening saying, what's the difference? Because that's where I was at the time. Income and cash flow were the same thing to me. But here's what he said. He said, Richard, income is measured in dollars. It's how much you make. Cash flow is measured in time. It's how long the income that you make lives with you. Meaning, if you got $1 million income, does everybody on this Zoom agree that $1 million income is a sky-high income?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. But if you got $2 million in bills, that's just broke on a higher broke level, yes?
Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
But if you got $80,000 in income, but a $40,000 lifestyle, your cash flows twice your period of need. And he shared with me first some strategies to maximize my cash flow from my job. How many of you would just love to have more of the money that you make stay at your house till you get around to it?
Yeah.
Now, the second thing he shared was a way to increase my cash flow without adding another job. And the game changer was when he showed me how to put the money to work so that the money could make more money. I'm going to share those three things, and then I'm gonna go back downstairs and hold my granddaughter because she likes her granddad. All right. And as I go through, make sure this is designed to be small so that we can be interactive. But if you think about the movement, that I'm proud to be one of the co-founders in the starting faculty for the ExtraDigit Movement. What's the ExtraDigit Movement? We're that group of individuals that's come together to help you increase your cash flow, therefore your net worth, one digit at a time. Does that sound good? So if you right now at a place where you're bringing home 6 figures, how'd you like that to be 7? If you got 7 figures coming in, how would you like those 7 figures to bring you 8? Okay, let me talk about it. Here's the thing that's got to change. Is our thoughts about money. See, I was always taught you need another degree, you need another certification, you need to manage more people to get to wealth. But if you look at anybody that's created wealth at any time in this country, their strategy was straightforward. They took some cash, they bought, built, or grew an asset, and you knew it was an asset by the fact that it created new cash flow. Cash, asset, cash flow. And you can choose whatever asset you want to plug in for your formula, whether it's real estate, commodities, foreign exchange, currencies, stocks, mutual funds. The main goal is we got to understand that the job of our money is to go out and get a job. But what did they teach us? You work for an hour, you get paid for an hour. You don't work, you don't get paid. Anybody learn that formula? This formula for staying at work and paying bills and then leaving this earth with nothing left to work in your place. And the blessing that Brian introduced us to, he brought us into a partnership with the ultimate cash flow company, Make Wealth Real Financial, MWR for short. If you're taking notes, people, that's the most frequently asked question for me, by the way, Jared. What does MWR stand for? Make Wealth Real. See, for most people, wealth is a fantasy. It's an illusion. It's a TV show. But the company, our founder, Brian House, the CEO, and Andamo Tolson, that's all they've done for the last 20 years. This is a debt-free company, 4.5 years old, and it's home of the Financial Edge membership, and it has a simple cash flow system. Job 1, increase cash flow from your current lifestyle. Now, job 2, create new cash flow independent of your current cash flow. And job 3, multiply the cash flow from both streams so that you have more cash flow to buy more assets that produce more cash flow. It's like being caught up in an endless loop that benefits you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
No, it doesn't make sense. You don't get it yet, right? And by the way, Brian Bean, I'll talk about him later. I'll give you all of you a chance to meet with and work with him, be trained by him. because his impact is monumental. Like with the ExtraDigit Movement, our private wealth building community, think about this guy as our leader. Brian retired when he was 22. Now, you know what's bad about that? He's younger than me. So when he was 22, I was 25. He earned his first million and lost it in his 20s. And he's one of those people that says that fear means fail early and responsibly. When he was able to regain his millions, what he dedicated himself to was not just making money for him, but helping 100,000 people live a legacy, not just leave one, right? And here's what we get. So let me jump into concept one, the financial edge membership. And by the way, for those of you looking for gotchas, there's two parts that apply up front. $149.97. Did I get the elephant out of the Zoom early enough? $149.97 is my monthly investment to have a team of experts help me increase my cash flow and multiply my cash flow. Biggest challenge with most people when it comes to money is they think they have to figure it out all by themselves. But if you knew how to reduce your taxes, lower your debt, lower your bills, eliminate your debts, raise your credit score, and help people who couldn't before get into homes, wouldn't you have done it already?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And at the same time, once the membership is in action and the cash starts flowing to you, they give us more intelligent things to do to multiply and expand your cash flow. Meaning, I don't know if you've heard of it before these conversations, but they talk about the idea of diversified cash flow, of becoming your own bank through a private reserve, land banking, and then understanding the power of controlling everything and owning nothing through trust. We even get to trade in foreign exchange and cryptocurrencies without having to become experts in all 10 of these things. Am I making sense? 149, 149.97. Here's the gotcha. You can afford it. What other gotcha? No setup fees. What other gotcha? Your spouse is included. Your money's tied in the knot anyway. If you marry and you're gonna say married, your money's married too, so your spouse is included in the membership. Does that make sense? But let's talk about step one. Stream number one, cash flow from your current income. How many of you make some money today? Wait, let me see.
I got you.
All right. Yep. Jared, CM. Do you know that your money, your current income, is the most attacked stream of income in the world? Meaning, if you've got a good, everybody out there got a good job? Let me be honest about my blessings.
What's a good job?
All day. Well, is one where they pay continuously to educate you and give you enough surplus money to invest in yourself. My job has a job. You know what his job is? To fund my business. We'll talk about that another. I'm serious, but think about this concept. The earned income bracket is the highest tax bracket in the American economic system. Yes or yes? Well, you don't have to. I looked this up. And it's on a scale so that the average American pays 28 to 33% of their income in taxes up front. Yes?
Yes.
And then you have to file a document called a return for a return of the overpayment of taxes that they've taken out of your paycheck all year. And nobody told you you were going to get in a silent partnership with Uncle Sam the day that you went to work, did they?
No.
You filled out a form to get on payroll, and suddenly I looked through my whole family tree. Do you know it's a fact? In our family, there is not one uncle named Sam. But he's in everybody's pockets before them. You've noticed you got a gross pay. Aunt gets paid next, and then you get sent home with what's left. And then if you want any of that back, because it's designed that most of us overpay, 80% of Americans overpay their taxes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then they have to do a return to get a refund, which means they get their money back because they got overcharged in the first place. We got a team of experts that helps first with taxes, but not just with taxes. It's the other three thieves, because most people, here's what happens. Taxes cause people to go into debt. Because so much is getting taken off the top, most people have to borrow for things that people consider basic necessities, like their home and their mortgage. And sometimes if you check behind the check and that check not coming fast enough, I won't say that I bought groceries on a credit card, but has anybody ever done it?
I have. I'm not gonna lie.
And in that last category, they do three things. They take your taxes down, your debts down, your expenses down, so that the average member, by employing our experts who go and negotiate the bills, redistribute the debt, and do the taxes differently, we're able to save our average member $200, $600 a month on taxes, which comes on the front end, eliminate $64,000 in debt, and then save them $140 a month on their bills. And since there are enough people on here that have gone through this, give me your 30-second version, because I do want to make sure that we end on time. But Monifa, I see you. Jared, I see you. Who else wants to share quickly how the experts got money back into their house for them? So I got Jared, Kristen, and Monifa. All right, go. 30 seconds. Let's go in order.
I'll let ladies go first. Monifa, you go first.
Okay. Well, MWR have saved my life. Before MWR, I was overpaying taxes, $503 bi-weekly. That's over 12,000 back into my household annually. They raised my credit score from a 644 to a 751 in under 120 days flat. That caused me to refinance my home and go from a 4.25% to a 2.87% interest rate, saving me over $34,000 in interest. Okay, you want to say something, Rich?
Keep going.
Okay.
I gotta write these down.
Saving me over $34,000 in interest. I was able to make money with the company. I made $78K that particular year, and I was only taxed on $20K because I made business income with the second part of the three cash flow streams. I made that business income will cause me to pay less in tax, or get taxed on less, I should say. I'm now able to invest in silver. They lowered over $18K in bills, Con Ed, Spectrum, T-Mobile, over $1,800 lowered in bills. If you don't like this, if you don't see the value in this, I don't know what will.
So, I mean, I want people to hear those numbers. So you said $149 saved you $1,000 per month, which went right into your paycheck.
Yes.
And then they saved you $34,000, boosted the credit score. I don't know if I ever want to go after Monifa. I'm going to be over here being quiet. Who's next?
Kristen.
Well, you know, Jared said ladies first, so I'll tag on that train. So when I first started, obviously I started with the tax reduction. So the instant pay raise, the experts got me $160 back per paycheck, so $320 a month. So doubling the cost of my membership already, because the membership is good for two. My mom and I own a 2-family home together. So they boosted her credit score 120 points, which put us both in the mid 700s. We refinanced our home, saved $85,000 in interest. Yeah, and also positioned me to become my own bank. So I was able to open a private reserve account. So I'm looking forward to keeping some of that money invested and also borrowing from myself the next time I need to purchase something. So super excited about that.
85,000 plus 320. The membership got you money back that you were able to invest. We'll talk about what multiplying money looks like, but these are great examples. Jared, take us home, brother.
All right, I did exactly what everybody else did. My first thing I did is I got $656 a month back home on my paycheck, month after month. Then the bill negotiators went to work and reduced some of my monthly bills for an extra $150 a month. So I took that $800 a month. I didn't go out and ball. I started killing my debt. I started knocking my debt out. I paid off about $36,000 in debt. As I'm paying off that debt, my credit score went up 120 points from 628 to 748. That then allowed me to refinance my home, which that lowered my interest rate on my home. That saved me another $300 a month. So just those three it was $1,100, not including the money I was getting back from paying off my debt. So right now I'm cash flowing. I ain't gonna brag, but I'm cash flowing about $2,000 a month.
Come on now.
Okay.
I mean, and that's what we gotta be. Like this, y'all give it up for Jared, for Monifa, for Kristen, for two things. Number one, being humble, open, and transparent about what someone else that's not standing in the frame can do to help you improve the picture. Does that make sense?
Awesome job.
Wow. Yeah.
Awesome.
Good way to say
Second
it.
thing is acknowledging. Put this in your mind and in your notes. Your income is a source of wealth. The question is, who's getting wealthy from your work?
My God.
Clue. The two largest bank accounts in the world are at the Federal Reserve and the US Treasury. US Treasury gets paid every time we get paid through the IRS deductions, and the Federal Reserve is the banks where the banks bank when you go to direct deposit. Does that make sense?
Wow.
We got to start getting our money back from the people that took it from us. And the part that they talked about that I hadn't even emphasized yet was the importance of credit. Like our American money system is rigged. Your credit score affects the price of money, the cost of your insurance. Hell, some jobs you can't get if your credit score ain't right. So it makes sense, even though it's a number, to have some experts look at it. The average member increases their cash flow $2,000 per month just in getting their money back with some expert opinions. Does that make sense? So that's the question I always ask people right here at this point in the conversation. If a $149 investment could bring $2,000 of your money back to your house, do you want your money?
Absolutely.
My money. My bread.
Like some people get all out of shape, like, Richard, I don't really want to make more money. I don't want to make more money, but do you want your money? So let me pause for a second and ask, are there any questions about the membership? I know we covered a lot of ground in a very short period of time, but our fundamental element, like people say, why do they pay you so much? Is because we're giving people access to the same tools that wealthy people have that most of us don't. It's a team of people focused on one area of their finance. Does that make sense? So any questions? Let me check the chat. Let me come out of this big view to make sure that anybody that has questions gets a chance to ask their questions. Any questions?
None in the chat.
Nothing in the chat. So we making sense so far? Okay, so let me ask.
Someone just asked, do y'all do tax prep?
Yes, we do. We didn't. When I got started, we did tax strategy. But now we provide a comprehensive tax advisory service where they do tax advisory on the front end. See, that's the piece most people don't have in their lives. I think it's tax season, right? Well, they call it tax season. You know when tax season is? Every time you get paid, they hunting down your check. Did Richard get paid? Give me that. But they call this tax season because now this is the season where we can get some of it back. Most people will hire a tax professional to prepare their taxes. Rich people, wealthy people hire tax professionals to help them strategize ahead of tax season. Does that make sense? Because at this point, the IRS has had all of our money for a year, paying no interest for the right to access our first fruits.
Wow, wow, wow.
All right. And and we provide the tool. So if you use our membership, they'll actually file your taxes for free. Well, not free, it's a part of the membership. It's included in the 149, but since when I used to pay for my tax returns, they were close to $1,000 each. This is a deal. This is a better deal.
No doubt.
Was that the only question? All right, good question, Sam. Now let me ask you a question since you don't have questions for me. If you knew that you could help Monifa get a raise from her job, would you tell her about it?
Yes, I would.
If you knew that you could help Kristen save $85,000, would you let her know that's a possibility?
Yes, I would.
If you know that you could help Jared be cash flowing $2,000 off his 149, would you let him know?
Yeah.
Would it be okay if they sent you a check?
Yes.
That is the simple power of our business model. We operate through word of mouth referral marketing because it's necessary. I want y'all to understand, it's not that they pay us a lot because we do something uncomfortable. It's that we do something that no one else will do. I mean, really think through this. A government-sponsored education will never tell you how to pay less in taxes. It's just not going to happen. That's where their money comes from. All you had to do was watch the Super Bowl to see how often they asked what was in your wallet to know that the bank's want was in your wallet. It takes somebody that cares enough about you to introduce and share a concept that puts your money back into your pocket so that your money can make more money. And they said the best way to incent people to do something they were going to do anyway is to pay them handsomely for it. So with our compensation plan, the business portion of our membership, let's talk about cash flow stream number 2. Oops, I'm sorry. I skipped ahead in my slides. Is it okay if we talk about making money first?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
Because here's the 2 things that we do. If you think about the goal of money, your money does have a job, depending on your psychology. There are 3 categories of money psychology in the whole world. 3? Only 3, Richard? Yes. Poor people, their psychology says that money is for paying bills and buying stuff.
That's what they taught us.
Self-edit. It almost came out. You saw it on this, but second category, middle class, says we're going to earn a higher income so that over time we can buy bigger things. Bigger house, bigger cars, bigger education for our kids, middle class. And then the third category, wealthy psychology when it comes to money. Money's job is to have a job. What's that job? To get pregnant and have money babies.
Yes, sir.
So when we talk about growing money, the things that I'm excited about with MWR are the things that we weren't being taught, meaning I was taught to get a checking account, a savings account, and put some money in my 401k for retirement. How many of you got that advice?
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to really look at the results that I was getting with the things that I was being taught, meaning has anybody closely examined either of your bank statements, your checking account, or your savings account recently? How much are banks paying you for the use of your money?
Next to nothing.
0.0%.
This started off small, but went small. It's like, yeah. See, I'm saying no.
Less than 1%.
Imagine this. For the top 20 banks in America, for every metro city, 0.01% is the average. That number, 0.01. What does that mean? If I take $10,000 and set it aside at the bank to grow for a year, I say I want you to grow and protect my money. At the end of that year, do you know what the bank will have for me? $10,001. Ain't touch it. Ain't do anything with it. They're going to pay me $1 for the use of my money and call it interest. Man, you know what's interesting? What is a bank's business? They loan money. So they took my $10,000, they loaned it as a credit card, a mortgage, a student loan. They flipped that money 20 times by the time I get back to get my $1. And by the way, that $1 is taxable. With
So you're not even getting $1.
It like that. You got 4 quarters, but they like, I need one of them back from you, player. But think about this. With the set of tools that we had access to with MWR before we went down to Florida, and especially the new toys that we got since we got back, one of my favorites was a private reserve account, which allows me to be my own bank. Now, I won't have time to go into detail on all of these things, but let's talk about the top 2 and what we just added. What we had before, private reserve account or being your own bank and land banking. You heard Kristen and Monifa talk about how they were able to become their own banks, but I want to make sure you're clear on why that's exciting. See, the game isn't being mad at the bank, it's understanding that the game is being the bank. And with our private reserve account, you're able to deposit money into your account and have it grow at the rates of the market. But when the market has these extreme drops, you don't lose any money. But when the market goes up again, you continue to grow your money. Now, I can tell by some of the faces and the dates that some of us are past the age where we can afford to ride the roller coaster with the market, yes?
Yes.
So imagine a portion of your investment account that never loses money. I've been blessed. My 3 years with my private reserve account, I had a 12% year, William, a 14% year, Andre, and a 17% year, Kristen. Last year was 17%. Now my 401k was doing all kind of things that make you cuss. Anybody have some statements you just should have thrown away?
Just opened mine the other day.
It's like, but imagine that. I mean, my worst year, that same $10,000 at 12% would have made $1,200 instead of one. I understand the bank on we got to just get the belief about ourselves that money should come down Y'all Street, not just down Wall Street.
Believe that.
Now, the second thing they added was land banking. It gave me an opportunity. I was already a real estate investor, but to invest in land in the path of growth, we watched that land grow 43% in value in 2 years. And we have a team of experts that go out and find these types of deals. We buy under market and are able to be in the path of growth. And then what they just added, and I don't even have bubbles on my chart yet, William. We just added the real estate owner program, the Fire Your Landlord program. If you know anybody out there that's paying rent, understand that the interest rate on your rent is 100%. 100% of that rent goes to somebody else. But you can be a homeowner, even if your credit has been so bad that you couldn't get it, and your debt to income ratio has been so out of whack that they didn't know they were part of a real fraction. Our real estate owner program puts you in the right place to be able to buy a home, which is, from a generational wealth point of view, the first place that generational savings occur. And at the same time, we just added a managed fund with the same guy that does the currency exchange, a foreign exchange. Like, has anybody you ever watch the financial news and just be confused? Is that just me? When they come on and say the dollar performed worse than the yen on yesterday. What it means is that money's being traded all around the world 24 hours a day. When our money goes to sleep here in the United States, the Australian markets open up 2 hours later, and now we get the opportunity to get paid by somebody who does this for the highest level governments, so that we don't have to figure out cryptocurrency and foreign exchange. Just have to manage our money, diversify our cash flow. And then the last thing they added, I was looking for it anyway. Like I had just retained an attorney, Kristen, to develop the trust to put our assets in, but that's including the membership, so that now we can have the ability to control everything, but own nothing. That's how you avoid getting sued. So that's cash flow stream number 3. Now, again, experts do this work. You just got to make sure that you've got enough of your cash flow back or enough additional cash flow so that you're in a position to invest and have your money make money. And the blessing in our team, there's so many people. We talked about Kristen and Monifa, but Angela Johnson just got awarded one of these heavyweight belts from MWR for financial championship, right? Land banking with Dana Turnquest. And the cool thing about Dana, he's one of those people that was already a real estate investor like myself. He took some of his underperforming assets, put into his private reserve account. He was able to pull $28,000 tax-free out of the Bank of Turnquest to fund his 14-door Airbnb. Does that make sense? Because now you took some cash, you built, bought, or grew an asset, and now the way that you do the test is that assets producing more cash. Charles and Judith, such an amazing story because of what they went through. Charles was retired from the military, and he was a military contractor. And during COVID, he got furloughed. Does anybody know what furloughed is? It's where you're fired, but
too well.
The goal is, what did they say? You don't have to come to work, and we don't have to pay you. But when they called him back, he turned in his computer and his badge because part-time, he started working on this money miracle. They paid off the house they were in, bought this land on the lake, and now they're building their 6,000 square foot dream home because they did all of it. They got their credit scores into the 800s. Both of them are banks with land banks. And it doesn't help that they earn no less than, well, right now, I think this number is $14,000 a month, part-time. So let's progress one step forward. Let's make some money. Well, let me check before I force this part, because that's the membership. Both of the things I just shared, your cash flow and the passive income streams, all of that is a part of the $149.97 membership package to be a member, customer only. Don't generate any new income, but you have all the access to get your income back. Does that make sense so far? Now, show of hands, who got on here because you heard there was a way we could make some money?
Me.
Definitely got on here for Mike and money.
I just want to make sure I don't force information on anybody that don't want it. But imagine this, for an additional $100, that's right. So $149 plus a one-time startup fee of $100, you can add the home-based business component of MWR Financial to, in my opinion, add the best performing asset you can get if you've got a good job. It's a home-based business. $249.97 per month gets you access to all the experts, plus it gets you the business that allows you to get paid by, get this, helping other people get their money back and showing them how to make their money make more money, right? Richard, come on, you're going too fast. I want you to understand, this is simple. This is simple. Step one, level one, when you get started, say for the sake of this conversation, you found 3 people that wanted to do business for you. As a matter of fact, say you found me, Monifa, and Jared. Is it safe to say we get started in business with you? Wait, let me look and make sure all the heads are not.
Come on, let's go.
Of course we would.
Right.
We're already in, but you just picked up a squad, because the 3 of us get started in business with you. You go to what's called our level 1 daily guarantee. It's a self-funded business. It means you earn $5 per day. Now, CM, you do not look impressed with my $5 a day. But here's what I want you to know. $5 a day times 30 days, that's $150 a month. Because of the specific strategies we teach within this business team, that $150 daily guaranteed residual income is accompanied by $300 in bonuses. So you have an upfront return on investment where you made more than twice what you invested, and you got a self-funding business, and a self-funded business never goes out of business. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But here's the beauty and power of our system. 3 of us did not get started in business to be the 3 people that made sure you made $5 a day. We want to duplicate your efforts. So we go to build our business and duplicate what you did. 3 people get started with Monifa, 3 people get started with Jared, 3 people get started with me. That's only a team of 12, but now you're generating an extra $20 a day in guaranteed income. That's $600 a month, and $300 a week in potential performance bonuses. Could an extra $1,800 a month this month help?
Yes,
Every
indeed.
It most definitely would.
That's our fundamental unit of work. We try to keep it super simple. Put that in your notes. KISS. Keep it
Simple.
super simple. Keep it super simple, but just duplicating that work, because over time, now you graduate into the next ranks of executive director, star level 3 and 4. I'm blessed to say that right now, I'm an executive director, star level 4. I make no less than $100 a day doing this. And my wife makes an extra 20, just about to be $50 a day part-time, with an overhead of $149 a month. I mean, oh, you know what? I don't have to show charts of people getting paid. Is anybody in a place to show what it looks like when they text you that you got paid today?
I ain't no fucking see.
I'm still working on my phone. Like I have bad phone etiquette, but I was so happy that I ain't even open it yet. Watch.
I think I got you, Mr. Hart. Let me pop this up
Get
here.
in
real
now.
quick.
All right, Kristen, I see you. Kristen, what you got right there? What you working with? Let me spotlight you. All right, $5 a day, self-funded business plus all the other money that you got back. Let's see who else we got. Let's see, William. I
Yeah, there
feel
you go. And so that's $5 a day,
and that's every day.
every day.
For days and days. Like this is part of the concept that I had to get used to myself, was what residual income feels like. Meaning we got taught linear income. So you go to work, you work for an hour, you get paid. You go to work, you don't go to work for an hour, you don't get paid. I've had several times in my life here recently where I just could not muster the emotional fortitude to do any work. But do you know, at 5 o'clock, I got more excited. Let's see, Dang. Y'all see this is?
Yeah, that's
A little
good.
bit closer, a little
A
bit
little
closer. Put it right up
Never
there.
mind. I tell you, it say 100. 100 every day. 100 every day, 100 every day. And then every Friday gets to be a payday. And again, the goal isn't to get to $100 a day. You got to pick what number sets you free. But you think about executive director, star level 4, that's at $150 a day. And my brother, he's the first one to get to this $200 a day level. That's $6,000. Now, by the way, my brother still works part-time, full-time. He says works full-time on his job and part-time on his fortune, but his part-time fortune is starting to catch up. And this do you know that even right here, I just noticed this in the revised comp plan, real $1 million residual ring earner club is at 2-star regional director. This is only the middle of our compensation plan, but these people earn $300 a day, $9,000 a month, $109,000 annually. And they just added a new tier where you can get paid as much as $15,000 a day based on the number of people you're willing to help. Does that make sense?
A lot of sense.
And you get to pick how your phone looks. But here's the goal for everybody, in my opinion. It's the first thing that we got to do is get to a position where we're able to buy back our time. I think the biggest lie ever told to anyone in America is that time is money. How many of you were told that time is money?
I've heard it.
Listen, time is not time. Time is time and money is money, and time is more valuable than money. Unfortunately, the way our education is set up, it taught us to spend a whole lot of our time for a little bit of someone else's money. But my friends, Gail Andrews, Chrissy Howard, Sean Hill, literally, we coached Little League football together. So the boys that are 25, they were 5. But when he was able to get his life back, he says to me, Richard, I'm unemployed, unemployable, mentally unfit to work for anybody ever again. And I get it. What buys you your freedom? Now, by the way, I know as we go through this conversation, there are probably a million thoughts running through your head. People have all kinds of mental breaks and barriers between them and their potential $1 million money makeover. There are people out there worried about what other people will think of them. They're like, Richard, you went to Duke University, you got rental properties. Why would you do a business like this? Because I can do math, man. Let's math this. The rental property that I paid off, thanks to the membership, by the way, the membership helped me too. It helped me increase my paycheck from my job, $1,272, $636 per check, $1,272 per month, helped me pay off $52,000 in credit card, and helped me pay off that rental house 12 years early. But that rental house, free and clear, makes about $1,200 a month. And I had to evict the lady today. You hear me? $1,200. This business, which costs $150 a month, makes more than twice what a whole house makes with no tenants, no toilets, have to take much less Tylenol. So whatever other people think of you is their business. Make it your business to think more of you than they do. And then some people will get confused. They'll say, Richard, it's $150. I don't know if I can afford $150 a month. If $150 buys you $2,000 a month, can you afford not to? I mean, really? I mean, because we all know it was Super Bowl Sunday yesterday. Some of us spent $150 on something that's going to never give us a return. Yes. And then there are some people that will say, let me think about it, not knowing that not making a decision is a decision, and it's a decision in default. And America has operated in the default for too long. What's the default setting? That most Americans go to work, pay more in taxes than they take home for their lifestyle. That causes them to go into deeper debt, which causes them to pay more in debt than they do for their lifestyle. We're just reversing the curse and letting go of all our past failures and failures. And there's somebody out there that said, let me pray about it.
Yes, sir.
Let us pray. No, I was just playing. You were praying already, weren't you? I mean, if prayers is required for a decision, I think your prayers have led you to the answer to your question. It might not be what you're looking for. Shoot, it wasn't what I was looking for. bruh, I can't think of a better answer to what I was praying for. Make sure that you get started and understand that we got your back. Like, there are a lot of businesses that you can get into and make a lot of money, but when it comes to family and support system, we got online and offline training. We have one of the strongest weekly overview communities in the industry. When you get a chance to meet my sponsor, Chuck Harden, or my other brother, Sean Hill, or Brian Bean, we do an excellent job of making sure that people not only are equipped, but that they have all the resources that they need to live the legacy. And, you know, when you get a chance, come on down here to Atlanta, visit Bean Acres, because Brian is one of those people. He's not just talking about cash assets, cash. He took the cash. He makes $1,000 a day in this business, but he says transparently, my bills are $7,000 a month. Took some of the extra cash, bought this 40 acres and a lake. You know how hard it is to get water in Metro Atlanta? And he started looking around my front yard. He did yoga and bounce houses. And then you had people doing movies, setting up food trucks, everything that you can do with area, even filming movies. And now, by the way, that's fake cocaine. Don't judge him. That's it's for movies. CSI shot some scenes out there, but I think my favorite story is this one right here. Said, Rick, they out there with a washing machine and a TV mounted on a tree. I don't know what they're doing, but they paid up front. And the next week, his backyard was where they were filming the Georgia Lottery commercial. I mean, I want you to expand your mind enough to think about how many people are standing in front of you at the gas station trying to pay $2 or $3 to hopefully win $2 million, $2 million, but they're looking at an asset that he built for $249. And he has to stop right there. I mean, I'm gonna stop this conversation right here to let you decide to get in, because at the end of this conversation, there's usually two conversations that people are having with me. Number one, person says, I don't really know if I want to start a business right now, but I know I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of going from one paycheck to the next paycheck without knowing where my paycheck went. I want some experts to help me get my money back. If you want, you know, on average, $2,000 to flow back into your life from the thieves that took it, it's $149 a month to get access to the membership and the team of experts. But if you know, like that, you know that you're designed for more, to make wealth real, not just for you, but for the community around you, $249 is the number. $249, $149, and a one-time payment of $100 for $249 to get activated, and then $149 a month on either position to make sure that we get together and make wealth real, not just for us, not just for the people that come after us, but as proof that it's possible to live not just within our means, beyond meaning. So I'm going to pause. I'll leave room for questions. Are there any questions before I head out? Because we got asparagus and chicken today. Yeah, we got asparagus and chicken every day. It's that time. Any questions? Questions. Awesome. Well, seeing no questions, get together with the person that invited them. Let them know if you're number one, you just want access to the membership, or if you're number two and you're ready to start building a substantial, significant side stream income that doesn't depend on what those people at work think about you.
Facts.
But whatsoever you do, make sure to do something, because the worst thing that could happen is already happening right now. All right, I'm out. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Good
Thank
night.
you, Brother
Great
Hard.
evening,
Miss
Rick.
Prep for
Good night,
dinner. What you
Rick.
making for dinner?
Good night.
I need to talk to you.
Baked potato.
All right.